Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming here for this class of observation and opportunity discovery methodologies. This is part of the requirements of the MSc in Inspiration Economy and also for PhD program. Now, we reach to this part, which is again the final part of this class, which we talk about example of application of collective observation and opportunity discovery, which means that sometimes we have a group of people, they look at the thing from different perspectives and they give their feedback at the same time. This can be done usually for fast problem solving, or sometime when you are doing field visit with different experts or partners. Usually the pattern of these observations, collective observations, usually follow a certain framework that might be used, for example, a pattern of first short visit. For example, they see the raw material or the raw data, the unfiltered list of problems, the weaknesses or the inefficiencies noticed during the initial assessment. And then they start to do the cognitive process of connecting the dots, which is the inspiration process. And then they see the opportunities within the problem, which is the concrete actionable strategies or projects derived from these observation, which is, we call it the exploitation phase. Now, in the cases presented here are usually follow a certain pattern of being systematic. It applies the same lens to different organizations visited. Usually it follow another step, which is diagnosis, which is looks at the root causes, and it depends on the donors, for example, the lack of follow-up, no product differentiation, etc. And then we follow also transformative, means we turn the problems, which is, for example, rejection rate in certain cases, into opportunities. How we bring a higher end, or the weaknesses, for example, of no marketing, into strategies, where how we, for example, bring total solution branding. In essence, it teaches how we observe the symptoms, the initial observation, and the way that we diagnose the disease, the core problem, and prescribe the treatment, which is the opportunity. So in this class, we're gonna see, for example, how we, when we visited the spa in Bosnia, how we first did the observation of the first visit. This spa is using thermal treatment, thermal water, okay, but it have actually also variety of treatment specialty. The level of service is good, but it's not very high quality as we've seen from the facilities. No enough studies to prove the uniqueness of the water treatment, the thermal water. I mean, they say this thermal water is very good quality, but no, and they are not having enough customers as compared to a neighboring country like Slovenia and others, and Serbia, but because maybe the thermal water is quality is not well maintained. And yeah, you know, they are claiming that this is the high return, but only 50% of the treatments only use water. Now, here the opportunity is that we need to compile the data on the water or thermal water treatment and its effect and the quality of the water. We need to have a clarification of the conditions of the patients, their range, their diseases, their sex, and also we need to measure the impact of water treatment after they're getting treatment, and improve the way the service is done and delivered, and appraise the marketing program. When we visited also a water factory in Bosnia, we've seen, for example, from the first observations, which means observation less than 1 hour, the difficulty in marketing compared to high competition from neighboring country. Even though this is Bihać is very, very popular, they have the best river maybe in all Europe, and especially in East Europe. They have 25 experience, but still they are challenged with competitiveness, and they have high competition from neighboring countries in bottling, especially products, and their market presence is only 15% in their own country. So we should have a focus program to increase the availability by increasing, for example, the presence in the market. And of course, we should have focused supply chain market study. All employees should be responsible in marketing. And we should have branding distribution shelves and cooling machines, which is carry the brand itself as being a local brand. The other case was visiting the metal factory. The metal factory is a family business, a strong project management. It depends on Europe's orders. Export 99%. There is diversity in manufacturing, no sector specialization, rejection rate is low, but they need to have a transition from diversification. This is the opportunity, which means they need to have also higher end products. For example, they should work, for example, for products relevant to hospitals. And they should move from push thinking to pull thinking or pull manufacturing, means based on actually the customized requirements. And then they should determine the full stage of industrialization and reduce the rejection rate to the minimum. The other case was, again, visiting people with disabilities. The Cook observation, the collective observation was there is a variety of disability cases and ages in this NGO. The operating cost is not fixed. No evaluation of the type of strength within the targeted sector. Therefore, the opportunity here is to see the investment potentials on people with disabilities and their capacity, and bring a better clarification for the type of abilities available and how to create peer-to-peer learning, and how to create a trust fund, وقف, and focus on tangible results. The other case was the children's home care. In this home care, there was no clear causality of cases, which are need to be deeply analyzed. Total dependence on external fund, 140 children of age 18, and they are not clear about the follow-up after leaving the home care. The opportunity here is to focus on three parties for volunteering: financiers, intermediaries, and the beneficiaries. And they should have create a trust, a waqf, which is prevent repeat cases also, and prevent the problem from the source. And of course, there should be a follow-up for the cases to ensure their movement towards being independent and leading by example is high. Then we have the case of women empowerment. This is a non-profit MBO, and they do a research in the field of women empowerment. The opportunity here is that they should have a strong strategic plan with impact measurement. They should reevaluate the type of women development competitiveness programs they are doing and the impact of their program. Then we visited the Muslim Women Association. The focus here is in the Holy Quran versus values, and they define the type of challenges of Muslims for Muslim women in a multicultural society. Again, here the link between Quran and practices of Quran, and changing Quran education centers to be a lifelong learning center. The other case was a case of honey factory. And here, of course, where the supply and demand was clear, is that they need to balance the supply and demand in a proper way to increase the consumer confidence, but also they should create a differentiation in their product so that they enhance their market size. The opportunity here is that they should have a high-end supply chain, and the capacity versus demand should be improved. And the market study should shift to towards the problems faced in the market or the needs in the market. And then we visited, of course, this dairy factory. The dairy factory, of course, bring cheese and yogurt and milk and so on. and it should benefit from the accreditation of the university, but there is no clear marketing strategy. There is high demand of product quality, but no export. Now the opportunity is that they should bring total solution, means they should focus on the quality, on the quantity, and the delivery, and they should have a lean concept to reduce the the charges of the delivery compared to the production cost. Then we have the case of strawberry and mushrooms suppliers, and these are farms which have refrigerators and 80-20 family which is collaborate together from 6,000 persons who benefit from this. Now each family have a person in the company working for that. The challenge of refrigeration as part of the supply chain is a problem. Now the opportunity that there is no grading of the products to differentiate its competitiveness. So you should have grade 1, grade 2, and so on, as you know, in the marketing of vegetables. And then possible increase of profit compared to the return on investment. So there should be, again, a study that shows that the return on investment will be high if you invest and so on and so on. Now, based on this, I think we should start to conclude here, is that the observation is critical input and catalyst for bringing in the inspiration currency. Through observation, we can do opportunity discovery. We can find the hidden value in the problem. And the key variables here is the problem depth, the observational data, and complacency will be studied more. The opportunity will bring for us currency generation, which means to create value from observation, the assets observed and the empowered mindset, and the implementation can be here play a role. And then we should have also the development effectiveness to measure sustainable impact, sum of the inspiration currency, resources used, and the GPI loss. And then we covered in this course also the mindset multiplier to cultivate a culture of discovery where our curiosity, our focus, repetition, and vulnerability will be again studied. And then we have also the resilience capacity, where we build our ability to withstand shocks, and we bring solution space, we bring agility, and actually we study the severity of shocks. In this course, we really understood now the importance of doing case studies that is full of actually observation. And for that, each case study, as you can see, like in the case, for example, of jewelry shops, safety practices, when we describe a story, as you can see here, we are describing actually the possibilities of that is brought by the observation. So all the beginning of a story or a case study, okay, in this case, it is about community policing and how they are collaborating with the jewelry shops to minimize the thefts and so on in Bahrain. You can see that's all it's about the description of as a result of the observation we have done. And then we start to put the classical solutions, which is the available solutions. Now that's in this case, for example, the number of policing, community policing, the security, cameras, the market patrols, whatever. And then we start to see, to show that what is the opportunities that come based on the observation we have done, how we can improve the community policing, how we can bring collaborative solution of community, again, prevention, and how we can enhance, again, our management through incidents, near miss, the ability not, the mistake that was done even without theft, okay? Because this is this type of step, which is the inspired socioeconomic solution, is the first step that will take us to bring the solution, the proper solution, because we start to describe here the opportunities within the case study. And then we talk about the observations for opportunities collected that is final, so that we can come up with the solutions like this. to focus on for example, the type of the shop, to understand the mentality of the shop staff, to again create empathetic field visits, and so on. So these are solutions that created an outcome which is minimize the theft of the jewelry shops in Bahrain to the minimum. I think by this we have concluded our class or our this course, and I look forward to have you in other course. Thank you very much.